Hakadosh, Boker Or, Masechet, Bava Metzia Daf Gimel Amud Aleph 53a1. We were just speaking about on the bottom of 52b. We were asking a question on Hizkiah. And it says the question was that the Truman Bikurim, if somebody's going to eat them, he's going to be Chayav Mita B'dei Shamayim on Truma or Bikurim. Obviously, we're not talking about a Kohen. And he has to add a fifth if he ate it accidentally. And it's going to be a Sur for Zarim. And it's going to be property of the Kohen. And it's going to be Oleh B'mea V'echad, which means that in order to annul it, if it gets into a mixture, it's not Batel B'shishim, it's Batel B'mea V'echad. And you need Rechitzat Yadayim. Ve'erev Shemesh. Rechitzat Yadayim means you have to wash your hands for it, just like Perot of Trumot Bikurim. You need Erev Shemesh that if a Kohen was Tamen, he becomes pure. He has to wait until nighttime in order to come and to eat it. And these are all in Truman Bikurim, but not in Maaser Sheni. So says the Gemara, what does it mean, Mashenken Maaser Sheni? Lav Mikad Maaser Batil Beruba. We're not talking about that it's going to be Batil Berov. V'im ita de Chizkiah. Now, if you're going to tell me now the Shita of Chizkiah, Havale Davar Sheish Lo Matirim. V'chol Davar Sheish Lo Matirim. Afilu Belav Lo Batel. Even an Erev, it's not going to be Batel. So says the Gemara, meaning that once there's a heter to it, so even if it's going to be in 1,000, you're not going to annul it because you could have it in a heter, or you can have it in Isur. So says the Gemara, maybe it's not going to be batel at all. Yeah, maybe it's not going to be batel at all. Maybe it's not going to be batel at all. You can't say that. Why? He says the legabe truma. We only learned the chumrot of truma and not the kulot of truma. So we only learned the chumrot and not the kulot. So says the Gemara, "V'ha kaktani v'henichse kohen." Says I thought that it belongs to the kohen. So therefore, if it belongs to a kohen could do kiddushin with it. He could take the truma and say, "Areah mekudesh li betapuach ze, yeah, kedat Moshe v'Yisrael." He could use it for kiddushin. So says the Gemara, no, lo sagadaitach. The Tanya behedya was learned mefurash. Maaser sheni is batel berov. Ube'ezeh maaser sheni amru b'maaser shemo shave pruta. V'shenichnas Yerushalayim yatsa. Came into Yerushalayim and it came out. And therefore, it's not davar shelo b'batirim, right? It's not a davar shelo b'batirim. And therefore, that's the kavanah also of the bikurim. V'im ita ledechizkiah. Now, if you're going to tell me like shitat chizkiah, that if it's not going to be shave pruta, it's davar shelo b'batirim. Liavdele Chizkiah, v'neichale al ma'ot rishonot. Do like Chizkiah, and then be mechalel et zeh on the first money of the Maaser Sheni. So answers the Gemara, you never redeemed it. The la parik. You didn't redeem it at all. And therefore, since you weren't mechalel et zeh at all, so that's why you can't compare both cases. So says the Gemara, v'naiti Maaser di'tle v'nitztarfinu. Says fine. So bring another Maaser and combine them together. Right now, it's not Shaveh Pruta. Bring another thing, make it Shaveh Pruta, and now redeem it. Answers the Gemara, Doraita D'Rabbanan lo mitztarfeh. Something which is going to be Chayav Doraita Maaser Sheni, something which is going to be Chayav D'Rabbanan Maaser Sheni, they do not combine together. Because it's basically one is Doraita, one is D'Rabbanan. So they don't combine together in order to come, right, in order to do this. So says the Gemara, V'naiti Demai. Why can't you just bring Demai then? But remember, Demai is already only the Rabbanan. And therefore mix it with also Maaser Sheni and Atarov, which is also the Rabbanan. So do two the Rabbanans together. So answers the Gemara, Dilma Atela Tuli Vadai. No, but maybe you're going to combine it with something which is a Vadai, Truma, which is Doraita, and therefore we don't want you to do that. So ask the Gemara, Venaiti Shte Prutot Unchalel Alayom Maaser V'Shaveh Pruta Umechza. Says fine, so bring two Prutot and do the Chilul of Maaser on 1.5. And just make it on the other half, which is missing. So answers the Gemara, Misavra, do you think Pruta Umetza Tafsa Shte Prutot? Do you think 1.5 is going to catch on to 2? He says, no. Pruta Tafsa Pruta, V'chatzi Pruta Lo Tafse. Says 1 Pruta is going to be Shaveh on the other Pruta. But the half is not going to be Tufes on anything. The Hadar Avel then becomes a Doraita D'Rabbanan. The Doraita D'Rabbanan, it's not going to combine. Because remember, if it's less than a Shaveh Pruta, it's nothing. So ask the Gemara, V'naiti Isar. Fine, bring another coin. Bring a bigger coin. And if you bring a bigger coin, for sure the 2 halves could go onto this bigger coin. If it's going to be 1 coin and the other another one, you're only doing a half, I understand. But if you bring a bigger coin, make everything on the bigger coin, and that's it. And so the Gemara, maybe you're going to bring prutot, which are the small coins. Okay? Then the Gemara says, yeah, he comes and he says like this. Now the Gemara is going to come, and the Gemara is going to explain as follows. He says, "V'shenichnas Yerushalayim v'yatza." Why? Why is it going to become batel? He says, "V'lahadar v'naile." He says, "Bring it back into Yerushalayim and eat it there." So answers the Gemara, "Shenitma became tameh," and therefore once it becomes tameh, you're not allowed to eat it. So says the Gemara, "Okay, fine. So just redeem it." The Amar Rabbi Elazar says, "Rabbi Elazar, minay l'maaseh sheni shenitma v'shepudin." How do you know if maaseh sheni becomes tameh? You're allowed to redeem it. Nun Gimel Amud Bet 53b. Afilu b'Yerushalayim, even in Yerushalayim. Shneimar b'says al-pasuk, ki lo tuchal se'eto ve'en se'et el ha'achila. We're talking about eating it. Shneimar v'yisa mas'ot me'panav. So therefore, it comes out that se'et is milashon achila. So therefore, ki lo tuchal se'eto means you can't eat it. And then it says, v'natata b'kesef, you're going to redeem it. So therefore, you can redeem it. So just redeem it. Ela but rather, belakuach b'kesef ma'aseh sheni. You bought it with money of Maaseh Sheni and it became Tameh. And Dafka Maaseh Sheni itself has Pidyon, but not the money from the Maaseh Sheni. Meaning if it was Maaseh Sheni, you're right, you could redeem it. But it's not Maaseh Sheni, it's the money which was redeemed on Maaseh Sheni. So says the Gemara, Lakuach because Maaseh Nami also redeem it. It's not, but it says in the Mishnah, Halakuach because Maaseh Sheni Sheni. Yipadeh, you could redeem it, Mefurash. Here it says to Mefurash, that even if you took money and you redeemed it, you're allowed to come and you're allowed to redeem it again, even though it became tameh. So answers the Gemara, this shita is going like shitat Rabbi Yehuda that he says you have to bury it. You're not allowed to redeem it. Yikaver, not yipadeh. So says the Gemara, if it's going like Rabbi Yehuda, so what do you care then even if you went out of Yerushalayim? Even if it didn't go out of Yerushalayim, you still have the same halacha, according to shitat Rabbi Yehuda. So answers the Gemara, Ela lo'olam, really be'emet, we're talking about Maaseh Sheni Tahor that came into Yerushalayim. What does it mean now that it came out? Tenaful mechitzot, that it fell from mechitzot. Okay, what does that mean? It fell, the Chomot Yerushalayim fell after the Maaser came in. Now remember that Maaser Sheni could only be eaten in Yerushalayim, right? So if the walls fell, so you can't do anything. Okay, next. The Hamar Rava comes and he says mechitzot. He comes and he says mechitzot, mechitza leechol, midoraita, mechitzot liklot is the Rabbanan. He says, what are you talking about? You need to eat the Maaseh Sheni within the mechitzot of Yerushalayim. That's the din doraita. But mechitzot, right, of Yerushalayim, that they're called tot maaser, that you cannot redeem them anymore. That's only the Rabbanan. Bechigazu the Rabbanan, kitzinu mechitzot only if there's mechitzot. When there's no mechitzot, the rabbis are make a decree. Meaning, you're right. To eat it inside of Jerusalem, you need the walls. So if the walls fell, Kaddish, you can't eat it. But to do the redeeming, we said you need the walls as well. So if there's no walls, so then there's no issue of redeeming. So therefore redeem it. So answers the Gemara, lo plug Rabbanan. The rabbis didn't want to make a differentiation. Then it's new whether there is mechitzot, no mechitzot. You're never allowed to redeem it. That's it. Okay? Rav Huna, Bar Yehuda Amar Rav Sheshat. Says Rav Huna Bar Yehuda the name of Rav Sheshat. If we're talking about now two different cases. Pachom Shaveh Pruta and Shaveh Pruta that came into Yerushalayim and they came out. Chada Ktani, Maaseh Sheni Shem Ba Shaveh Pruta Shenichas Yerushalayim Yatza. It's all one thing. What does that mean? It's going to be Batel Berov, and there's no takana to do the Pidyon. Okay? So now he comes and he says, so Amai, why? Why don't you bring it back into the walls of the city and eat it there inside Jerusalem? So answers the Gemara, the mechitzot fell. So ask the Gemara still, redeem it. Hamar Rava mechitzot leechol, right, is doraita. Mechitzot liklot is the Rabbanan. And when the rabbis made the decree, was when only there's going to be walls. If there's no walls, there's nothing. Answers the Gemara, the same answer that we mentioned before. Lo plug Rabbanan. Lo plug Rabbanan means that we do not make a differentiation whether there is walls or no walls. You're not allowed to redeem the Maaseh Sheni. Okay? So ask the Gemara, Yachi, if so. My idia, so what are we talking about then? Right? Embo Shaveh Pruta. Afilu Yeshmona. Even if it does have a Shaveh Pruta, just to be the same halacha. So says the Gemara, lo mi baya kama. What does it mean, lo mi baya kama? Lo mi baya, not only in a case that if it has a sheva pruta, the kaltan le mechitzot, that the mechitzot already got it, aval embo, if it doesn't have a sheva pruta, ima lo kaltu lo mechitzot. Mashmalan comes to teach you that even if it doesn't have a sheva pruta, Chachamim made a gezerah and kaltu mechitzot that you cannot redeem it anymore. But the rabbis made a decree, kaltu mechitzot, right? Even though it's less than a sheva pruta. Okay? Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. In gaol igal ish ma'asro. If you're going to redeem the ma'aser, ma'asro, the local ma'asro, only from the part of the ma'aser, but not everything. This comes to exclude if it does not have a sheve pruta, that you cannot redeem it at all. So Itmar, it was stated, Ravami comes and he says, Embo, if it does not have a sheve pruta, and Ravasi says, Embe chomsho, if it does no sheve pruta, then it does not have, in the chomesh, there's no sheve pruta, then there's no pidyon. But if right now the keren does have a pruta, right, there's still no pidyon until the erech has to be that the tosefet is going to be sheve pruta. You understand what the tosefet is? Meaning that when you add the 1/5, that also has to be sheve pruta. That's what we're saying here. It's not only just the principle. Even the 5th has to be sheve pruta. Okay? Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says, Embo, if it doesn't have sheve pruta, Rabbi Shimon says, the chomesh does not have sheve pruta. So, Meitvei, we're going to ask the following question. Maaser sheni that does not have sheve pruta, dayo shiomar hu v'chomsho mechulal ha'maot harishnot. It's enough just to say that the keren, right, and the chomesh is going to be mechulal, and you could redeem both of them on the original coin. So Bishman Manda Amar, this is good according to the Manda Amar, right? Bo en chomsho hainu diktani, when it says that the maaser sheni that it doesn't have, we're talking about en bechomesh, that the 5th does not have the extra, does not have sheve pruta, and that's why we thought the dayo. The afagav the videi because even though it does have it, Kevin the bechumshe leka, since it does not have in the 5th, it's going to be okay. But according to the Manda Amar bo, what does it mean bo? What does it mean bo? It says dayo. Dayo means, right, that it's not going to have enough of what we mentioned before. So says the Gemara, you're right. It's a good question. Kashya. This is a good question. Meaning that the fact that the Braita is saying this chidush, that you could actually do like the Tzav Chizkiya, and therefore it says that we're talking about dayo to do the chilul like that. So therefore we can actually say hu v'chomsho mechulal, right, al ma'ot harishonot on the first money. Okay? Fine. When we're going to ask the following question, right? He says over here like this, humsha milegav or humsha milebar. When we're talking about now the chomesh that you're adding on, is that on the outside or the inside? You know, this is always a very, very famous question. Okay? When the chomesh that we're adding on to the keren, is that going to be, so for example, if the keren is 20 zuz, do you add another 4, right? Which is going to be a 5th of the keren. So for example, how much is a 5th of 20? Yes, 4. So you're going to add another 4. Or chumsha min lebar, or do it outside, which means we're going to divide the keren into 4 parts, and then we're going to add another 5th. So therefore, right, the chomesh is going to be a 5th of that amount. So if the keren is 20, you're going to add another 5. Because if a 5th is, you're going to divide it into 5 parts, and then you're going to add. So therefore, if you're going to add another part, so therefore it's going to be coming out 25. Okay, that's the pshat milebar, right? Or milegav. Milegav is like on the inside, meaning like a shorter end or on the longer end. So 20. When you're adding the 5th, is it becoming 24? Right? Because that was the 5th of 20 and you're adding that. Or is it going to become 25? So Amar Ravina says, Tashema. So we want to try to bring a proof. Ba'alim omrim, if the Ba'alim come and they say, yeah, Ba'alim omrim be'esrim, v'chol edam be'esrim, ha'ba'alim kodmim b'nei shemosifim chomesh. What happens right now if you want to redeem a sadeh, a field that you consecrated? The owners want to redeem it for 20 slaim. And everybody also want to say, they also want 20 slaim. So obviously the Ba'alim come first. Why? Because they add a 5th. So since they're adding a 5th, the Hekdesh gains. Okay, with the other guys, they don't pay an extra 5th. So Amar Echad, if somebody says 21, the Ba'alim notrim esim v'shesh, they have to give 26. Because they have to add the 5th plus the 1. So Esimu Shnaim, if the guy comes and he says 22, the Baalim have to give 27. 23, the Baalim have to give 28. 24, the Baalim have to give 29. 25, the Baalim have to give 30. If Yishen Mosfim Chovesh al Lilui Shel Zeh, Shema Mina, it's Mileban, it's not Milegav. It's on the outside, and it's not going to be on the inside. Shema Mina. And then obviously we're going to really go back and forth with Hashem.